ask everyone to silence their cell phones if they haven't done so. And we'll be in order. Commissioner Ramey, would you lead us in a word?
That's right. Well, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to serve you and serve the people. And give us insight, knowledge, and wisdom as we conduct business of our county. We thank you and we honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you are a visitor with us and haven't signed in, please do so at this time. What we're going to do is at this time, Mr. Hayes is going to call the roll of the members of the commission.
Barry, Tina Barrett, Barry Green,
Here.
Todd Lindsay,
Here.
Robert Walsh,
Here.
Tommy Brown,
Here.
Dave, here, Randy Ramey, here, Paul Morgan, Amanda Berry,
Here.
Patrick Reagan,
Here.
Mitchell Hart. Present. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. I think we have two sets of minutes this time to approve. There's the revised minutes of the September meeting and then the minutes of the October meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look over these minutes? Are there any questions, additions, recommendations about the September minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of September 11th, 2025? Mr. Brown so moves. Is there a second? Have a second from Commissioner Reagan. It's been moved and seconded the minutes of September 11th, 2025 be approved as submitted. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed say nay. The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion to approve the minutes of September 11th, 2025 is agreed to. Let's talk about the minutes of September 9th, 2025. I have a strong recommendation. I want my name spelled right. Other than that, I don't have any additions, corrections, or anything else. And I want to ask the rest of the commissioners if they have anything to say.
I do, Mr. Qualls.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
There's just another few misspellings.
Oh, okay.
Number 6, agenda items, Brenner Surveying is misspelled.
Okay.
And item 2 on the back, on the next page, actually Dickson is misspelled.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is, you're right. That's wrong. Okay. Other than these typographical errors, is there any substantive comments about? I would accept a motion to approve these minutes to be on the condition that the spelling errors be corrected. So does anyone move to approve the minutes of the meeting of October 9th at this time? Thank you, Jeff. Is there a second for that? Okay, Commissioner Reagan seconds. It's been moved and approved and seconded that the minutes of the meeting of October 9th, 2025 be approved as submitted with the exception of spelling errors, which will be corrected. Those in favor of this motion state so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion to approve the minutes of September 9th, October 9th, 2025 is agreed to. It's time for our public comments. Does Ellen Yancey have comments to make at this time? Ma'am, if you'd come on up and address the commission with your comments, we all want to hear them.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Ellen Yancey. I live on Jones Creek Road. I live a little over 1,000 yards from the rock quarry that's currently here in Dickson County. It was here before I moved in the house, so I'm not complaining about that. I'm not very far from the Eubanks operation. They're good neighbors as well. There's a lot of trucks on our roads, but they're good neighbors, and they were here before I was. I'm concerned about the growth in Nashville and the impact they've had on other surrounding communities with the need for additional rock quarrying and additional landfills. I'm aware of the Dickson County history with landfill.
Thank you, ma'am.
Enough said. And we don't want to get in a situation, in my opinion, where we have additional problems with landfills, moving in rock quarries without neighbors knowing they're coming in. Like I said, the rock quarry was there before I am. I feel the blast 10:30 on Tuesdays, in case you needed to know. And so it's there before I was, and I moved in with knowing all that. But I don't think it's fair. We're lots of housing going up, and I don't think it's fair to move some of these things in close to people without them knowing. So having a reasonable amount of property that either a landfill or a rock quarry would need, or to put in so they have a reasonable distance and they have, knowledge of them coming before they just show up. And so I would recommend that the zoning commission take a look at that and see if there's a way we can go ahead and put it into, I don't know, our regulations, laws, whatever we have here in the county.
Ma'am, this is a very sincere question. Have you read what's on the agenda for tonight?
That's the amendment to the
Yes.
zoning resolution.
Yeah.
That's
Are you,
what she's speaking.
is she speaking in favor of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate your comment, and I wanted to make sure it was topical to what I was thinking it was about.
So, well, I'm just saying, I live near the rock
Yes, ma'am.
quarry. It was there when I came.
It's there when I was born, so.
Okay, well, I moved here in 97.
Mhm.
I'm just saying,
Yes, ma'am.
I knew about it,
Okay.
but I would hate to have one on the other side of me now.
I would too.
So that's all I'm stating is I want to be proactive for the county. So, the history with the landfill where you don't get into
Yeah.
lawsuits and legal actions. Some of the cities or communities around Nashville, I can't list all of them. There are some. I've read some about Murfreesboro getting filled up and some other
Yeah.
things. But it's hard after the fact to try to challenge it. One case, Grundy County is going to the Tennessee Supreme Court because they tried to stop a rock quarry from going in there. So, okay, so
Ma'am,
I
we
just
appreciate,
want us to get stuck.
we appreciate your remarks and thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Jason Holloman, I have as a commentator, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Members of the commission, my name is Jason Holloman. I'm an attorney in Nashville. I frequently work with affected neighbors on particularly land use and zoning issues. And I have been working with the county attorney to bring this here to you on behalf of some of my clients that are landowners here in Dickson County. I'm sure you're aware of the specifics of what's before you, but what I ask is that you consider that unlike a lot of these situations, my clients have been proactive and not waiting until you're faced with a particular rock quarry, landfill, these types of uses, that it can be difficult to regulate and manage once there's an application before you. Since the state changed the law with the Vested Property Rights Act, it also takes less to vest a property right.
Yes.
It used to be that you actually had to have action in furtherance of a permit. I'm sure you're aware. Now simply a permit can get you there. And so to prevent that kind of situation where we inadvertently allow something that we may not want to, and because of all the growth that is happening in the surrounding area, we brought these to you and asked that you consider them. I think they're reasonable regulations, minimum lot sizes, minimum distance requirements, still allowing, and I think we've made sure that there is still space for these types of uses in certain areas because it's just a fact of life that we have garbage and we need rock. But these are going to limit their impact on residential property owners, agricultural users, those types of things. So with that, ask for your consideration and a recommendation to the county commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hallman. That's all of the public commentary we have. Okay, the public are advised that everything else all the discussion we have needs to be between and amongst the commissioners. And when we ask for comments from here on in this meeting, everybody's welcome, stay as long as we meet, but the last public comment should be right then. So with that, we're on to the agenda items, and number one on the agenda is the final plat of lots 2 through 5 of the Waller Estate subdivision, tax map 57, parcel 51.00, 10 acres, 1101 Promised Land Road, Charlotte, A1 Agriculture. So, yes, sir.
Survey and creating 4 July. This body passed the preliminary plat on September 11th.
Thank you for that. And with that comment, Mr. Hayes, does any of the commissioners have anything further to discuss about this plat? Randy, go ahead. Go ahead, Todd.
Corrective comments on this, Harrington?
Not on this review. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Are there any other comments, questions, or anything else? Or should we go on to the question? The chair would entertain a motion to approve the final plat of lots 2 through 5 of the Waller Estate subdivision. Mr. Brown?
I move for approval.
Mr. Brown moves for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Todd, if there's, okay, Ms. Lindsay, you second. Is there any discussion? Have it been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of lots 2 through 5 of the Waller Estate subdivision? Hearing none, we're going to have the question. Those in favor of the final plat of lots 2 through 5 of the Waller Estate subdivision, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, state nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion to approve lots 2 through 5 of the Waller Estate subdivision, the final plat, is agreed to. Item number 2 is the final plat of the Alluvium subdivision, tax map 138, part of parcel 7, 62.18 acres at 660 Piney Road in Dickson.
Survey by Brenner Survey and creating 20 new lots. This body passed the preliminary plat on June 12th, 2025. This is the final plat of phase 1 containing 5 lots.
Any questions, additions, comments about this, or should we move right on to the question? Jeff, go right ahead.
Have any questions?
All right.
Lot number 1.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious, the 150-foot setback, is that center of the road or center of the right of way? I'm sorry, or the edge of the right of way. In other words, where does the house have to be? How far off the road?
75 foot.
Center line.
75 foot. For some reason, I was thinking it was 150 foot. I wonder where I got that. Okay, so, all right. Well, that answers my question regarding lot number 1, because I didn't know with a 150-foot setback how that's going to work. That's the only question I have at this time.
Any more discussion on the final plat of Alluvium subdivision?
That's a good question. So
Yes, sir, Miss. Go ahead, dear Commissioner.
this, there is no sewage along this road, correct? Should all have to be septic. It's approved for septic. It's approved for septic. Yes, sir. Yeah, if you look at the note, about the 1 through 5 are approved for the 4-bedroom deal.
Okay, I think I saw that on the submitted item. Does that answer your question, Michael? Is there any other questions from any other commissioners? If not, the chair would entertain a motion that the final plat of Alluvium subdivision, tax map 138, part of parcel 7, 62.18 acres at 660 Piney Road, be approved. Yes, sir.
Make a motion approved.
Commissioner Green moves approval of this item. Is there a
Second.
second by Commissioner Reagan? It's moved and seconded that the final plat of Alluvium subdivision be approved. Those in favor of this motion say so by stating aye. All those opposed say nay. Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. So that's the end of item 2. And we're up to item number 3, which is the proposed amendment to the zoning resolution. Again, would you initiate this, Mr. Hayes?
Pat, Mr. Chairman. So as you gleaned from the public comments, this started as a citizen request from working its way up, and you're the first body to review this amendment as you do with any zoning resolution. Whether you vote for it favorably or unfavorably, will go to the county commission for public hearing and final vote. The purpose of this resolution is twofold. The first is to set, for lack of a better term, a buffer around sanitary landfills and hazardous waste facilities. And it gave us an opportunity to look back at our standards. So we are proposing to replace subsection G of 4.130 with the language you see before you. And the purpose of that is that no sanitary landfill or hazardous waste facility can be located within 2,000 feet of any parcel zone R1, R2, or R3, going with that request to kind of create more space between where there's known residential zoning and housing. Well, knowing that we have certain constraints with state law, but we confident that this is adequate. The second part of the zoning resolution is regarding mining activities, and it's similar. You can see part 2 there. You have the same 2,000 foot standard from any parcel zone R1, R2, or R3. It also sets a minimum lot size of 250 acres, an increase from what we had. And then finally, it's a definition cleanup. Occasionally in the zoning resolution, mining activity and then alone mining are mentioned. We define mining activity, so this just folds any references to mining to the definition of mining activity so that there's consistency throughout the zoning resolution. That's the extent of it. We're asking for a vote on this to go up to the county commission.
All right, commissioners, everyone. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff. You please do.
I'm just curious, I don't know the zoning or building regulations for a landfill. 2,000 feet is to where the landfill can actually be.
To the parcel.
The parcel, yeah. So somebody could conceivably be filling that landfill right up to that 1,000 foot mark. Is that correct? I'm thinking ahead when landfills start to expand and somebody has now a 400-foot mountain next to them, 2,000 feet away. That's my only question. Is there some regulation, state or anything else for runoff, for anything else?
There's a lot of other regulations with this. This is only dealing with our zoning. If it's setting a 2,000 foot buffer, and it's measured property line to property line. So anything else involving it would necessarily not involve the zoning resolution. Again, your zoning resolution dictates what uses can go where and what standards they adhere to. And it's setting that buffer, which we did not have.
Planning and zoning doesn't want to enter into things like regulating angle of repose and technical aspects of landfill mining or anything like that. Just our function of planning and zoning.
That's correct.
Okay. Since we're considering this 8.060 all as one thing, I just want to make sure, and I'm not stating in a position favorable or opposed at this point. I'm just saying everyone understand if you want to have a little rock quarry and quarry just a little bit of rock, you're still going to need 250 acres to do it. These little pocket type quarries that I could drive you to a half dozen of them here in Dickson County that where people got their own rock out of the ground in the past. That's not going to happen anymore if we pass this. And I don't have a gigantic problem with that. I just don't want everybody later on to go, well, how'd that ever happen? You mean I can't even know? You can't quarry the rock for your house on your property because of what we passed here. And again, I'm not real uncomfortable with that, but I think that needs to be in the record before we go ahead. All right. I want to hear everybody else's comments on this before we do anything else. So let's.
Is there No minimum lot size currently for a landfill for hazardous waste.
There is not, there's other
This
state
is-
standards, but.
This is good then.
Then I would think that it would make sense that it be congruent at 8.060 to have a minimum of at least 250 acres as well. Just thought,
No, that's,
if there is no minimum in place now.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from and I don't have a big problem with it. Again, I want everybody to understand exactly what we're discussing here. So that if we adopt it, we'll have adopted it and we'll have known what we were doing when we adopted it. Are there any other questions or comments?
I was just
Yes,
going to
yes.
add,
Go
I
ahead.
think that's a very valid idea because using your example of a privately owned quarry where somebody is no longer going to be able to get their stone, somebody could put in a 30-acre landfill. And I mean, and they all have to be regulated nowadays and whatnot, but I think that that's a valid consideration to have a minimum landfill size, and 250 acres is not a large landfill.
Not compared to many I've seen.
Yeah.
I think this is a very valid concern that's being brought up, but I don't want to blow this up and have to start it over to word that into it. If we're going to adopt this, I'd like to see this adopted as is, and then if we going to get more detailed into lot size for landfills, something like that, we go back and address that with a separate amendment. That's my opinion. Again, it's the will of the commission is what matters.
Would that be a call for a possible legal opinion? Is that a good idea?
Go ahead, counselor. Tell the man your legal opinion. I'm anxious to hear it too.
I agree with the chairman that it's the will of this body. If someone wants to make a motion to approve as is, there can be, while you're in discussion on that motion second, you can have a motion to amend to add, or the original motion, for example, could say, I move to make a favorable recommendation or unfavorable, but in this case, a favorable recommendation on the zoning resolution amendment, provided that we add a minimum lot size of 250 acres for landfills. Be that simple, if you wanted to go that route.
Mr. Chairman, my thoughts are instead of having to go through two separate pieces of amendments here, that I move to amend this resolution to add the minimum lot size of 250 acres for 4.130 development standards of sanitary landfill and hazardous waste facilities. There should be a minimum lot size of 250 acres congruent with 8.060 procedure for authorizing special exceptions for mining.
So just to clarify, are you approving the amendment to the zoning resolution with that amendment? Or-
Correct.
All right. All right. It's been moved to approve this with an amendment to the amendment to include a minimum lot size of 250 acres for all landfill activities. Now we need a second to that amended motion.
I second him.
Okay, we got several seconds, Mr. Brown, Mr. Chase, Mr. Berry, so just one of them seconded it for the. All right, now we need discussion on the amended amendment. Is there any further discussion? I don't have a big problem with this, folks. I'm going to vote to do it here in a second. All right, let's have the question. The question is to vote on an amendment to the zoning amendment to include in the minimum lot size for mining 250 acres. What a subsection G or further bullet point 3 under section F of landfills are also restricted to lots of 250 acre and greater. Tracks. Counselor.
So, Mr. Chairman, it's not going to be under 8.060. We're going to add
8.061.
Minimum lot size is going to be added to 4.130.
Okay. All right. All right. Everybody see getting this thing codified is is kind of nice because you want to be able to cite something later when you say you can't do that and here's why, and cite a number. So is everybody comfortable with us doing this? I am. I just want to make sure everybody is and we know what we're voting on.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment.
Please do, sir.
This is to legal. This doesn't retroactively affect anything that's currently going on, correct?
Now, any existing quarry or landfill continues to exist as grandfathered. It would be any new quarry or landfill that this would apply to if this is adopted by the county.
We're like every other legislative and administrative body in this country, really, and certainly this state. We can't do anything ex post facto. We can't say what you've been doing, it's been against the law for a long time because we backdated our law. You can't do that. So nobody should question that this threatens any existing business because it can't. There's nothing we can do to do that if we wanted to, and I don't think we even want to. Well, all right. Is everybody clear on what we're doing? Because if we are, I want to vote on it and move on. All right, the motion is to amend the zoning resolution to have a, excuse me, a minimum lot size of 250 acres for mining, no mining. And I would, let's make this second provision for this, no landfill within 2,000 feet of any parcel zoned R1, R2, or R3, and a minimum lot size for mining of 250 acres. Is everyone comfortable with that and feel that's what we've discussed and what we're going to do? All right. Those in favor of amending the zoning resolution to include these new provisions, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed to so amending the zoning resolution, state nay. Okay. The opinion of the chair is that the ayes have it, but the opinion of the chair is also that we should call for division and do this by roll call vote.
Larry Green,
No.
Todd Lindsay. No. Robert Wall,
Aye.
Tommy Brown. Aye. Jeff Chase. Aye. Randy Ramey.
Aye.
Amanda Berry.
Aye.
Patrick Reagan.
Aye.
Mitchell Hart.
Aye.
Yeah, have it.
Okay, so by a vote of 8-2, the motion is adopted. Excuse me. Well, folks, that's the end of those items, but there is a fourth item on the agenda for tonight, and that's a presentation by the Honorable Robert Ryle, Mayor of Dickson County. So we will now listen to Mayor Ryle's presentation.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Planning Commission. And again, thank you, Chairman, for honorable. I don't hear that a lot, but you feel free to use it anytime you want to. Just want to thank y'all again. I really appreciate y'all serving on this board. I've been around long enough that I've got to appoint you or reappoint you here over the last 15 years. So thank you. I know it's not an easy job. You get a lot of different stuff, but we realize the importance of what you do. So again, I want to thank you personally on that. I've never asked, I think other than one time, Chairman Qualls, you've probably been here to come speak to the commission because I don't want to do that because you need to have your autonomy and independence. I've never called on any of y'all individually to make a decision because I want you making those decisions because I appreciate what you do, the depth you go into these conversations. I think the one time I did come, it was over a certain piece of property on Rock Church Road that was trying to be quickly rezoned into R2. And that's before we had really good R2 zoning regulations. And just, you could quickly see if that neighborhood went on, it was going to be a real mess. And the board at that time, those of you on it, you'll recall, we did a 6-month moratorium until we had time with legal counsel and the commission to come up with a better plan. And we have. So now if someone does come come in and try to do an R2 neighborhood in Dickson County. It's going to be more reflective of what the city of Dixon's done and the other communities. So it just won't, my fear was we're going to have something with parking on the street, no green spaces. It was going to be a real nightmare. But thank you for doing that. And I think that was probably, it was pre-COVID. I can never tell you what years are in pre-COVID, post-COVID. So it was before then. So I come to you on that and that one issue alone. But tonight, I just want to talk to you for a second on economic development. I told my wife years ago I couldn't teach school because after I did it one year, I'd be mad at the students the next year because I'd say, we covered this last year. But it kind of dawned on me that we have, of my 15 years here, we had a lot of turnover and we all make assumptions. Being me making the assumptions, you understand what we're doing. And again, I'm lucky enough to be with the good professional zoning staff and the attorney. I kind of know what y'all do, but kind of want to tell you what we do in economic development because they're not the same thing you do, but they do run parallel. The decisions that you make and policy that the county commission and I make, they do kind of go hand in hand with each other. So just want to kind of hit some highlights on it. Terry Malone, our economic developer, is in the back here. She does a fantastic job for the county. She will be holding a class on economic development sometime in February. Not required attendance, but if you have a free Tuesday or Thursday night for about a couple hours from 6 to 8, I would recommend you taking it because it's really interesting. When I got elected, we still had the Chamber of Commerce doing economic development, and that was back in 2010. And as we gave a lot of money to the Chamber of Commerce to do economic development for us and tourism. But to properly manage that, I didn't know enough to manage it. So I went through the process through the state of Tennessee to become a certified economic developer because I didn't feel like I could properly manage something unless I understood how it worked. So it became very interesting and kind of quickly figured out the old school Chamber of Commerce deal when you had an industrial recruit come to town and you carried them to the country club and played golf and carried them out for dinner and did a business deal. That didn't exist anymore because it became highly technical and highly specialized on that. So we made the decision, well, we started a phased process of moving away from the Chamber of Commerce, but it's been about 8 years ago where we moved it completely out because just of the technical aspects of it, we need a dedicated person. We were very lucky to hire a young man by the name of Alex Wilson. Several of y'all may have know him. He was a young guy. He did a great job and he's moving on to bigger and better things. And he actually worked for the state economic community development office. And then we were fortunate enough again for Terry Malone to come along and hire her. But just kind of want to go over just some of the general views that we do on things. I know there's things you look at, probably most recently the property on Highway 46 and just kind of understand where we are and what we do on that. Like I said, I've been in office 15 years. It was probably about 13 years ago, about 2010, late 2011, when we were coming out of the Great Recession of 2009. We made the determination then, we took the word growth out as a goal. Growth was no longer a goal for Dickson County. We replaced that with improvement. Anything we do is to improve Dickson County. Now, growth could be a tool to improvement, but growth was not a goal because I could send Ms. Malone out tomorrow morning and she can land us an industry with about 100 people, but it pay $10 an hour. That does not improve Dickson County, does not improve the lifestyle here. So we're very measured when we bring things in and look at different things. One of the most recent ones that Ms. Malone was working with was an industry that was looking to come here that was going to have 60 jobs and have an average pay about $90,000 a year on an industry that's clean, that's not going to have air pollution, a lot of traffic, things of that type. That's the kind of jobs we seek now. Again, not all of them are going to pay $90,000, but we want above average wage in the mid-20s and up where it can make a difference in each individual's lifestyle. So I want you to know we bring something to you, and I'm not dwelling on the 46 project. I'm just talking about in general as we go forward that we'll be looking at several different things like that. And again, I have trust in y'all to make the correct decision on zoning and placement. I know we've worked on a community growth plan. We all work together on that, kind of determining where the growth's going to be and where it's going to head. And again, with rock quarries, I fully understand what they're doing and in agreement with most of what they're doing from what I've heard tonight, because we need to make sure that we're making a long-term plan because we're literally planting trees now. All of us old folks will never sit under the shade under. So decisions we make today are going to affect it long after a lot of us are gone. There's some young folks in here, long after I'm gone. Again, we've talked about that was out in front of us for a long time was the fuel terminal property. That decision was made in 1995. And people asked why I didn't do anything about it. And I was 36 years old. I lived in Camden, Tennessee, and I had black hair. So I wasn't here to do anything about it. But that project at the time, if you go back and look at the notes, it made sense. A piece of industrial property in the armpit of 2 interstates. Not a bad deal. What happened though? The community grew to it. I understand why neighbors would be upset on that, but that's how it was properly zoned. We're in an issue when it comes up to zoning and trying to put industrial land. We don't have the financial resources to go out and buy a lot of land. I think the rest of that land around the fuel terminal is price tagged around $32 million. We're not that liquid and don't pretend to be. We do help market that land, but we are in a situation where we do have some different lands we're looking at because some of these things that come in from our partners that help us recruit, they need quick decisions on it. Again, before we can do that, we come to the county commission, the industrial development board, and have them look at it because it's not just a pure political decision, it's a long-term financial decision. When we give a tax increment financing to help build a road or a pilot for payment in lieu of taxes, we take a look at that and like we did one, if you go back to what we did in conjunction with that area where Buffalo Wild Wings is, that whole shopping center there, that was done with tax increment financing. And a lot of times the public says, well, you're giving money away. No, we didn't give anything away. We continue to collect the tax on that property we were earning that day. We took the improved amount of tax revenue to pay to build a road. So the benefit was we got the shopping center, the road was built, we had the jobs, and we had the immediate resources from the sales tax, which mainly go to municipalities and go to schools. So there's a benefit to doing that. So we don't want to walk away from any revenue, but that's kind of what we think about. I made a bunch of bad notes here, but on our partners that we use, a lot of times I think the people, and again, for the folks that are Facebook devotees, I know they think that a lot of times that we sit in the back of a pickup truck with a Schlitz making our decision, but we actually are analytical about how we do this. It's one of those, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Sometimes people know so little, they don't know how little they know. And it's like y'all when it comes to zoning and looking at properties, y'all know so much, you probably don't have confidence in how much you know now because your expertise builds up over time. But as we make those decisions, we work the Tennessee Department of Economic Development, the Tennessee Valley Authority, the Middle Tennessee Industrial Development Board, the Greater National Regional Council, and then we have a program that we work with. It's called the Property Evaluation Program. They're from out of state where they come in and look at these different properties and tell us what their view is, and I think they're actually from Ohio somewhere, which is kind of cool because they have no political view of what they're doing. They're just looking at what goes on and how they view that. So we submit properties to them. And sometimes when you see a property, it may not be prepared today to hold an industry or a subdivision or a commercial property, but there's a vision because if we do have a piece of property that's not accessible, part of the deal is we work with the state or the investor, you need to build us a road that not only accesses your property, but helps the folks around it, or expands the sewer system where it not only covers them, but covers the folks along the way. So we take a lot of that into account as we move forward on all what we do. I'm not going to waste any more of your time because I know y'all have had a decently lengthy evening, but again, like I said earlier, I never reach out to y'all because I don't want it to ever appear that a politician, and I hope the county commission is offering y'all the same thing because we want you to make the decision. So I'm not going to reach out to you, but I would ask you if you have questions about how we're operating and there's some confusion on that, please give me a call. You can call me anytime. I'll be glad to meet you in person, talk over the phone. But if you don't understand or have questions about a project, feel free to talk to me. If it gets too technical, we'll get Ms. Malone in the office because she understands things that I don't even understand anymore. She's doing a great job with that. But I appreciate what you do. And again, I appreciate y'all taking a few minutes tonight to hear us out. But again, again, I hope this came across right. I'm not mad or anything like that, or there's no bone to pick with y'all. I just realized that we haven't done a good job of letting you know just what we do, and kind of like from the economy standpoint. One last story. I lived in Hendersonville in the mid 80s to early 90s. The problem with Hendersonville, Tennessee at the time was on property owners, it was nothing but residents up there. And a Hendersonville you see today did not exist in 1986. If you had retail, you went to Rivergate. All the tax money dollars went to Davidson County. And if you had any kind of industrial, other than 2 different industrial plants in Hendersonville, there was no industry base. The great thing that we have in Dickson County, and this has gone historically since I got out of high school, when we have ups and downs in the economy where Nashville and some of these counties have chops, ours are slow waves in this, but it's because our economy is diverse. And the good news is about 20%, the largest portion is the industry that covers about 20%. And so everything's very flat from that. So that's why locally, whenever it's been an economic downturn, we can weather the storm. And the good news is with industry, good industry, appropriately placed industry, they take a tax burden that doesn't come back on homeowners. So again, nobody wants a factory. We get that, but at the same time, we need a diverse economy, because when you squeeze that balloon and squeeze up on any one side, it's going to pop out somewhere else, because the revenue we need to operate this county, to operate schools, the cities to operate, it has to be there. Just in the last, since the 2020 census, we know we've grown 4,000 people. We're up around 58,000 people in this county just in the last 5 years. So there's issues of growth and managing the growth. But our job from county government standpoint is to do improvements. So again, Chairman, thank you. I don't know if you want to ask any questions. I welcome it if it's okay with the chair, or I'll be here after the meeting if there's anything y'all would like to ask me.
Do any of the commissioners wish to ask the mayor a question here as part of the meeting? Apparently not, Mayor. You must have really
I did a
sold them
great
on
job,
everything.
or I did a horrible job, but thank you either way. But again, thank you for what y'all do. I appreciate it.
Is there any other business properly become before the Dickson County Planning Commission at this time, Mr. Hayes? Well, that having been said, I wish everybody a very pleasant Thanksgiving, and will entertain a motion that we adjourn. Mr. Brown moves for adjournment, and we hereby stand adjourned. Bang, there we go. Thank you all.